Now, your host, Jen Siess, on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Welcome into the downtown studios of KMOX Radio. I'm Jen Siess, and we'll be your host tonight for the City Spotlight. Kyle Sixta is here with me on the controls for this 1-hour show. We'll talk all St. Louis City SC, some analysis with Dax McCarty of Apple TV MLS Season Pass. Dale Schilly will be on board at some point in time, too. He always joins us to talk about the Y98 analysis that he did on the road with LAFC. And we'll get a preview of this game's pregame player profile with City midfielder Tomas Ostrak. City, of course, coming off a roller coaster of a game, at least in the second half, ending with a 2-2 draw at LAFC. There in person was Lutz Pfannenstiel, City sporting director, and he joins us now live by phone. Lutz, thanks for spending your time with me this evening.
Hey, Jen, how's it going?
Great, great. Well, I will tell you, for the first time this season, I think you joined Joey and Dale in the booth at halftime. And you always give very honest impressions of where that particular game is. And at that point in time, you know, your feedback was pretty strong that the guys were too low. They weren't taking enough risks to push the line higher and create chances, having only one shot on goal in the halftime. And then I will cue the fact that your good luck proved true. Within 5 minutes of you being in the booth, they scored.
Yeah, somehow they always score when I'm talking to you or to Dale or to Joey, so I have to come back. I know you're going to Seattle this weekend, so I have to definitely visit you for a few minutes when we need a goal. So maybe I show up 2 or 3 times. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, you can pop in and out.
Yeah, I don't think it was too strong. I think it was there is no point for me to come there and tell the story of the girl in the pink dress, how beautiful everything is. I think it's important to be clear, to be fair, and to say what I see. And you know, we knew before the game that LAFC, to play away, a team where we never picked up a point away from home, is always difficult. And I just thought they were better in the first half. We didn't play up to the level we can play without Ben Lund, who had a great game. You know, we actually deserved to be down, but we held on to it. And then I think. The second half, with a little tactical change, I think it worked pretty well. I think we created more chances. We looked more dangerous. And, you mentioned it. It definitely was a roller coaster ride.
You know, Lutz, I want to ask you, how do you feel about balancing being good about your rest defense, right? Making sure you're constantly ready to be on defense, but then not missing those chances to take risks that sometimes, you know, could end up with the other team in your end. How do you balance that with the team in their heads and their mental and how they approach that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's always the question. We looked last year into our weak spots, and that was one of the analyses we did by the end of the season. We just simply conceded too many chances and also too many goals. And that was an area where we needed to work on, an area where we needed to get better. And I think looking at that part of the game, we did improve our defense quite a lot. Our organization is really good. The numbers we give away of chances is pretty much limited. And from that part of view, I think we improved a lot. But when you do have an extra man in the back, when you do decide to be a bit lower and be a bit more secure, you sometimes also do pay the price that you do not get that many chances. And you know, people were used to it the last few years that we always were all over our opponent, especially in Energizer Park. And we always were able to score 2 or 3 goals without any kind of problem looking towards the end of last season. But I think now to find a balance where the first, I would say, phase of Olaf Melberg's reign was to get a good organization to work on that defensive problems we had. Now it's coming to phase 2, where we have to try to find the balance between an attack and a good defense, create a bit more chances. And to be fair, Chen, if you looked at the game against Vancouver, which is for me at the moment the red hot team in North America, I think we did extremely well. We would have deserved to win that game. I know your husband is a good referee, so you know about the offside calls we had to deal with as well in recent weeks. So there I saw a good balance of defending and attacking. Which was in the first half in LA, unfortunately not really the case.
Oh, Lutz, you did me no favors with that, complimenting him as a referee. You can't do that anymore. He's going to listen and hear that. And we argue about calls on a regular basis. I will promise you that. One of the things I definitely want to make sure I ask you about before I get to the fact that, Open Cup starting next week. So I want to get to that is bring you back to maybe approximately January or so when City had gone through some preseason. The media, you and Diego Gigliani were in the press conference room. We just talked a little bit about what Olaf Melberg was trying. And one of the comments that either you or Diego made was around the fact that, hey, we might have a different coach, might have a little bit of a different approach, but the identity of City should remain the same. Hardworking, high intensity, high press team. 10 games into almost a third of the way through the season. Are you feeling like that's still the identity of City, and does it need to change?
No, I think it's still the identity because DNA is something you don't negotiate. That's in our pillar. That's in our way we wanted to play. But sometimes we have to adjust certain things. As I said, I always have a very clear idea. If you bring in a new manager, a new coach, 10 games, it takes at least time before you start to gel 100%, before people really understand each other. And there was a lot of positive moves in the last few weeks. So I believe that having a little fine tuning done in the defense and taking account that maybe we do have a few lesser chances up front, that we maybe sometimes are a bit deeper, is something which is okay, as long as we don't forget what we're there for, as long as we don't forget what we want to be. And I think that's also a part of the development of a team. And I'm positive that we get there. Do we want to have the ultimate super press like we had under Bradley Cornell? No, to be honest, because I believe it's not sustainable. And as you remember, in year one, nobody wanted to play against. We literally destroyed most of the teams. But once they realized what we can't do, once they just gave us the ball and say play, we had no plan B, we had no plan C, and that made us vulnerable. I thought after the transfer window and so many injuries last year, but we got a good group of players in. You saw a bit more of City 2.0, where we had a good pressing momentum, but we also were able to hold leads and had a good part of the second part of the season, I would say, after the transfer window, with injuries holding us back. And that year, Jen, I think we have to be very fair here to Olaf Melberg and the team. We have every week so far 6, 5, 4, 7 starters out. We never able to really have our full pool of players available to start the game. And unfortunately, we know how MLS is built. There is roster rules, there is roster limitations, there is a salary budget. We cannot just get out there and say, well, we have 5 injured players, let's just sign another 3 for now, like it is possible in other countries and in other leagues in the world. We have to deal with that what it is. And I always like to give you the best example, and I think it was 21 or 22, when Seattle won in March the Champions League, and then they missed out on the playoffs because they had 14 players out. That is what is, it sounds often to fans out there, to people out there, well, it's an excuse, but let's be realistic. If we have 7 starters out, or 6 of the 10 best players out, and we're talking about players like Löwen, Bürki, Totland, Durkin, and you go on. Is it that easy just to throw players in and play exactly the same game you want to play? Clear answer, it's not. And this is where, a little bit of patience and a little bit of fairness there sometimes to see what we have available is very important. I believe in the coach. I believe in the boys. We have a good squad. And once we are healthy, we will be just as difficult to beat we were early on in the season. But right now, difficult time. No point to pick each other into pieces. We just need to stick together, work hard, improve in training, work on that which really connects us, and we will be a decent team, and we will win some games.
Fantastic. And of course, great mentality to have for going out to face the Sounders, and of course, not having a full week to recover because Open Cup begins. How excited are you and the team I felt as a fan, I missed out. I missed seeing City being a part of Open Cup last year, and was really happy to find out the club would be a part of it this year.
Yeah, we're first looking forward now to the Seattle game. It's an opponent we played already. Looking forward to that one. It's a good team. It's a very, very strong setup there. But then Open Cup, I think, the fans really wished for us to be back in the Open Cup. I think St. Louis is such a traditional soccer city where being not part of the Open Cup last year was what fans were not happy about. But we are so happy to be back now. It's the most historical tournament actually in the country, and St. Louis teams traditionally always did well there. So I fully understand the hardcore soccer fans out there to be very proud to be back in that really, really traditional competition. So it is for the players. It gives us another opportunity to play in City Park. It gives us another opportunity to gel together, to get more minutes with each other. And Omaha, again, people looking at the league, USL, well, that's an easy game. No, it's not. That's the World Cup final for the boys from Omaha.
That's
they will
right.
Come here.
Yeah.
They try to play well their lives, and we need to be up for that fight. Otherwise, you can be unpleasantly surprised. So we need to take it very serious. We need to play with our best available 11, work hard, and hopefully can repeat that result from 2 years ago where we beat Omaha in the first round. But I'm personally very excited to be back in the Open Cup.
Lutz, thanks for your time tonight, and I'll see you in Seattle.
I will visit you in the box for sure.
For sure. Thanks, Lutz. That was Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for St. Louis City SC, talking about recent game with LAFC, preview of Seattle Sounders, and of course also St. Louis City SC is in the Open Cup this year, and that game is next Wednesday. They'll take on Union Omaha. So busy time to get plenty of time to play for all St. Louis City players. More to come on the City Spotlight. Here a preview of this game's player profile with returning City midfielder Tomas Ostrak. He's up next on KMOX.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes.
American Cancer Society's mission of ending cancer as we know it for everyone. Visit stlouis.acsgolf.org to learn more.
Total Information AM, weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The City Spotlight rolling on. Jen Siess here with you for segment number 2. It was so nice to visit with Lutz Pfannenstiel. I always get jealous that Tom Ackerman gets to have him on every Sunday, and I can see him at training, but I don't often get him on the show. So it was so grateful for him to join the show and give his, first person perspective versus sharing his, previous thoughts that maybe I got in a media presser. This week, though, I did get a chance to talk to City midfielder Tomas Ostrak. We talked about his start against LAFC, his first start with the team in 11 months since last season's injury. Tomas is ready to start earning back minutes with the team to help in any way he can, and he's definitely ready to leave injury recovery way behind him.
Of course, I'm very happy it's over, but, to be honest, it's very, very tough to be. You feel like you are a little bit like out of the squad, because you have to prepare by yourself, on the other exercises, on your ankle stuff, what you have to do, on what you have to work. And it's so boring, man. Didn't enjoy this time, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to have it again. Injury is getting better for sure. I can still feel it. Doctors said it's normal. I think I can handle it again. And I'm very happy that I started in LA. After 11 months, I was in starting 11. I think it was a good test for me. I forget in training today, but we see what's coming the days,
Quick shout out too, in the interview with Celio, he said how much it helped to have somebody else that knew what he was going through.
It was like a little bit helpful that we got the injury together, that we can push each other, to a little bit have fun together, We spend time together in the gym and that we joked around a little bit with that. So it was a little bit nice that I didn't do that alone, but I had him by my side, and I think it connects us even more.
So how was it to get this start again? Did you feel like a brand new player all over again?
I felt like I'm in the new team, but somehow I kind of, yeah, like 10 more people almost, I guess. Yeah. Almost, I don't know.
And a different coach?
Exactly.
When you left?
Exactly. It was the question too, because, when I was injured, I didn't know if he saw me any games, if didn't. So it was a bit like question, how he's going to handle me. I had now some good minutes, and I'm looking forward to more and push more. Very happy that I'm here and that I'm healthy again.
Let's just call it like it is. The team looks different. Each coach brings their own kind of style to the team. What does it feel like where you are currently on the pitch?
Older coach, he wants always go forward, press forward, go all the way. Now it's a little bit more, all right, wait and find your time to press. So it's more like patient, waiting. But in some moments, of course, depends on tactics on the teams, how they plan, so that they want to adjust some tactics. But mostly, be patient. Don't really force any triggers, and you have to very feel comfortable if you want to do some pressure. But with the ball, I think for me, it's a little bit more now. Somehow I am me, and I'm trying to do my best, creativity, freedom, and all the coach gave me too. But I think I'm still trying to somehow still adjust, It's a little bit tricky because with the older coach, we had more years together. And now it's, of course, I know, but it still needs time to bring it on the pitch, So it's not that easy.
And of course, City's struggling. I feel like it's kind of last year all over again. A lot of injuries, but got a new player with Jean Silva, who's been around. Edward Leuven, I hear, is coming back into training. Does that give a little bit of hope to a squad that's looking to regain what you guys had at the beginning of the season?
It's giving us good energy, for sure. When Edu and Shanda is here, we're happy that they are here, and we're gonna try do even better results than we did. I hope they're going to help us and that we can celebrate again, some 3 points and even more.
All right, so you're going on the road to Seattle, just on the West Coast. You came back out the West Coast to Lumen Field, facing the Sounders, who typically as a team, they start a little bit slow and get better as the season going. But we've already faced the Sounders. Exactly. We had a good result. What are your feelings on going back out and facing this team again, but on their home turf?
when we played there, it was a very tough game because turf, the fans, the environment, like it's a little bit different, you know. Of course, when we played at our stadium, it's a little bit easier because the fans, you know, like they gave us big energy and pushing us forward. But now I expecting a very tough game, even harder than LA. We have to step up as a group collectively and try to be as collectively as possible, you know, because that we can make some results.
Your personal hopes on the year. Don't get injured, right? Let's not do that again. You're just kind of coming in one more time. 10 games in, we've got still 2/3 of the season left to go, quite a bit of games. Personal hopes for yourself and the growth with the team this year.
For me, as you said, be healthy, you know. But for me, you know, I just want to play as much as possible, you know. So I'm giving my best in training in the game to prove it and to show them, fans, coaches, staff, and everybody here in the club. So I'm just looking on myself, you know. I'm always working hard to get my minutes and to improve it. Yeah, that's for me the goal. It's most important to play as much as possible, you know, to get back, you know, to get back in rhythm, to feel again comfortable. And I believe in that. I'm confident in that. So I'm not worried about that. And as a team, I just want to make playoffs because last year we didn't do it. And that sucks, to be honest.
That's a great way to put it.
It sucks. So I just want to reach it again. And I hope we will step up as a group again, you know, that we will again possible and make it happen. So I'm very positive in that way. I know we didn't get the results what we really wished, but I believe in our group. We have very good players, very good people here around us. So I believe in us and we will do it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll do it in Seattle by taking some points from the Sounders on their home turf. Hang with us on the City Spotlight. We'll get some national perspective on where City stands with Dax McCarty. He's an analyst for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. He's up next on KMOX.
Hello, I'm Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik. I have great news about Most 529, Missouri's education savings plan. The first 800 accounts created this month with at least $50 contribution will receive a $50 match. The money can be used for eligible college, apprenticeships, technical and graduate schools, and K-12 tuition. Start at MissouriMost.org and use promo code MOSTMAY.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please read plan disclosure carefully before investing.
We started NeoVitan because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. NeoVitan 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give NeoVitan 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitan.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURY Law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
You never got a sense of how big the community was until we all pour into this auditorium. 4,000 or 5,000 people. We're all here for the same reason. Real estate investing, living the lifestyle.
That's April on her Expo experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, back to the City Spotlight.
Our city! Our spirit!
Once again, Jen Siess on KMOX.
Rolling on in the City Spotlight, Jen Siess here with you. Joining me now, Dax McCarty. He's an analyst for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. You can hear his analysis as a regular on MLS 360, MLS Countdown, MLS Wrap Up. Dax, thanks for joining me. I don't know how you have time to do this interview or anything else, given all that you're on for MLS Season Pass.
Well, thanks for having me, Jen. How do I do this? Let's see. I begged my wife to put my son down for me.
Oh, tell her thank you. I have 4 kids. Tell her thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely, no worries. She knows the deal. She knows how it goes. And sometimes this gig, it keeps you up at all hours. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. But happy to hop on and chat St. Louis.
Well, appreciate that. And I will tell you, you're one of my cheats. So when I prep for a game, I'm actually going to Seattle for this next game. I'm filling in for our normal analyst person who Dale Shilley does a great job, but he's not able to go. And I definitely turn to Apple to make sure I'm, not just hearing what I hear here in St. Louis, but to get some national perspective. And I will tell you, I cheat off your notes all the time. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, I'm definitely okay with that. I'm flattered. I love that. Thank you. That makes me feel like I'm doing something right, because you know how it is when you're new to this industry. It can feel a little overwhelming at times, but I have to say I've really enjoyed it. I've had so much help and so much positive encouragement and feedback that I'm just really enjoying my time.
Well, of course, I want to get to St. Louis City on the whole, but I wanted to take a quick second and prevail upon you because you were a midfielder. And in your time, I just want to ask about that LAFC goal, Denny Bouanga's goal in the 90 plus 5. And there's been a lot of debate. There's always hot reaction, right, when something happens. I was a fast player myself back in the day, and nothing I love better than to get the ball into space. And chances were, if you were chasing me, I got even faster. When I've looked at that play, I swear, so many times, and I get the input that Josh Yarrow should have fouled him, I don't know if there was even a hot second that he kind of caught up to him. Was that really preventable once that run from Denny Bouanga started, or was the only key to that goal in purely prevention of making sure he didn't get the ball?
Oh, Jen, we could be up till midnight breaking that goal
Don't do that. I don't want to get in trouble with you.
It frustrates me to no end when I see goals like this conceded. And I'll give you the macro level view, and then we can break it down a little further. But generally speaking, and I don't care if that is St. Louis. I don't care that they've struggled this year. This goes for any team. Okay, you're on the road, you're down a man, you're up a goal. There is absolutely no reason for you to be, first of all, trying to. I don't exactly know. I think it was Pompeo that ended up losing possession, but you are trying to keep possession in a part of the field that is completely unnecessary. You're in the middle of the field. You're not really that high up close to their goal. I would be trying to get the ball to the corner as soon as possible. Okay, you're down a man. You haven't won in, I think it's 6 games.
Yeah.
Anywhere will do. There's 1 minute left in the game. Your back line is far too high.
Yeah.
Your shape in general is far too aggressive for you to be playing that casually high up the field. So then when the ball turns over, this is where we can break it down a little bit further. Josh Yaro, of course, he has to take a foul there, and he has to take a yellow card there. It's a no-brainer.
Can he get him, though, Dax? Do you really think he could get to him?
He can get to him when Denny Bwanga ends up slowing down. Denny Bwanga is a clever player. Denny Bwanga, this is where the nuance and the context of who you're playing against in the game really comes into it. You know, Josh Yaro, if he's doing his homework and he's studying Denny Bwanga tapes, Denny Bwanga doesn't want to go down the line. He doesn't want to actually be on his left foot. He can shoot from his left foot, but the further down the line he goes, the more his angle gets cut off. So before he even cuts inside, as long as he's outside the box, I wouldn't mind Josh Yaro trying to go for the ball, win the ball. If you foul him, fine. You defend the set piece. If not, you win the ball and you see the game out. But the minute you let Denny Bwanga cut inside on his right foot, you're pretty much dead in the water, okay? But there's also 2 other players that come over and can also make a play on the ball. And Denny Bwanga is just that good and that talented to where he ends up putting it right between both players who come over. I believe it's Baumgartner and either Hebert or Nielsen. I can't be sure exactly which one, but that play is such a microcosm of all the stuff that's gone wrong for St. Louis this year, even when they have a good performance. And this was a tale of 2 halves, because against LAFC, I thought they were poor in the first half, and then I thought in the second half they were much better. But once you have the game at 2-1 with 1 minute left, do anything and everything you can to see that game out. I don't even drop 9 guys inside your own box. There's 1 minute left.
Right.
I don't care how it looks. You shouldn't be trying to keep possession of the ball that high up the field. Get it to the corners. Let your strikers go run the ball down, and then recover your shape. You don't need to have your line that high. So I imagine that's so frustrating for St. Louis supporters, and also Olaf Melberg, who has really needed a positive result here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that City has, at one point in time anyway, I don't know if it still stands true, best defense in the league. Of course, defense doesn't necessarily win games per se. You got to score the goals. I guess the question, and to be fair, Sasha Kleshin was in the previous show and talked a little bit with our Matt Pauly on Sports Open Line. And he was asked this question. I think it's good to get your viewpoint too. Is the system that Olaf Melberg is trying to run, which is vastly different than the system that Bradley Carnell did, does he have the right players to do it? Is this a matter of maybe you do have to adjust what you like to do as a coach because the players you have maybe don't fit what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I did see Sasha's comments, and I agree with him. Okay. I do see a little bit of an issue with player personnel in terms of how Olaf Melberg is setting this team up. St. Louis is set up to defend, and they're set up to defend a little bit deeper, just based on what I've seen from Olaf Melberg. The first 10 weeks of the season, they got results from it earlier in the year, but it's been quite obvious for anyone who's been watching and paying attention that isn't sustainable. I think they started the season. Yeah. 4 games unbeaten, and they started scoring goals against the Galaxy and against Seattle. But the wheels have kind of fallen off a little bit here. And I do agree with Sasha that the way that they're playing isn't necessarily beneficial to the personnel that they have. They don't have a lot of pace. Okay. They don't have a lot of dangerous players that can get in behind a back line, which when you're trying to play in transition, you need pace. You need dangerous players who are able to go 1v1 and win individual battles in the attacking third. And quite frankly, the only time I've seen anyone do anything like that for St. Louis has been Celio Pompeu. Mm-hmm. Now that he is healthy and fit again after a bad injury last year, he's back in the team. He provides something different for Olaf Melberg. He provides a little bit more unpredictability in the attacking third, and I really like what I've seen from him. But with these other guys, with Klaus and with Hartl and with Teutschert, they're just more. They're good soccer players. They have good technique. They have good technical ability. They want to come short for the ball. They want to keep possession. And so for me, Olaf Melberg, he has to try to be able to get this team to come out of their shell a little bit more. He's got to give them more tools when they have possession to be able to break teams down, because he has the right players to be able to break teams down with skill, with intricate passing. This team's just sitting a little bit too deep to really be able to get a stranglehold and a foothold of games. I definitely agree with Sasha.
Well, Dax, I want to respect your time. I promised you only 10 minutes. I want to let you go, but I'll tell you, open invitation to ever come on the show. I really enjoy your analysis, enjoy the conversation. I could ask you 20 more questions, but I won't. Thanks for your time tonight.
Oh, Jen, thank you so much for respecting that barrier. I will say, as long as it's a little bit earlier in the night, I have absolutely no issues joining whenever you guys need.
You got it. Thanks, Dax. Have a good one.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
That
Bye-bye.
was Dax McCarty, analyst for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. If you miss him, then you're doing something wrong, because you can catch him on MLS 360, MLS Countdown, MLS Wrap Up. And like I told him, I cheat off him every game and listen to his analysis if it involves St. Louis City SC. We appreciate his time tonight. Stay right here. One more segment to go, and we haven't forgotten him. Dale Schilly, St. Louis City Academy Director and local game analyst on Y98, will join us to bring it all together. He's up next on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports. Let me talk to my NBA fans out there.
I felt we struggled a lot on the ball. So we wanted to change something, to change around in the positions a little bit to hopefully make them a little bit more comfortable. So the main reason we changed around a little bit was, because of our build-up and more possibilities on the ball.
That was Coach Olaf Melberg just earlier today talking in the press conference about that change that City made at halftime, which sure enough, about 5 minutes in, made a little bit more room for this guy, Cedric Toyshort, to score a goal.
I think we changed the system in the second half. I was more in the middle. And of course, it's my favorite position to play a little bit behind the striker. The coach make the decision when I play on the right side for the defending. It's not my decision for me or for us. It's important to play minutes, to play games. But of course, I think when I'm in the middle, I'm dangerous.
That was Cedric Toyshort talking about him being dangerous in the middle, and boy, surely he was. And there to see it live was Dale Schilly, St. Louis City Academy Director, game analyst on Y98 for all City games. Dale, you were there in LAFC. Did you feel like potentially that shift at halftime it boded as well as it did in that first 5 minutes?
Well, first off, I love the confidence of Cedric, where he says, "Yeah, of course, I'm playing in the middle, and I'm better there." And I think it was really to make room for Celio. And when Celio comes in, he can be a little bit wider and helping some of that in the outside channel. And then I do agree that Toyshort is much better off centrally. As sort of an off striker or a 10, however you want to say it. And, just that goal, I mean, the quality of his first touch was unbelievable, and just a good finish. And, that is one thing that we've seen from Toyshort is his ability in the front third, his ability in the 18-yard box is really good. And he's always calm, and he finds ways to get shots on target. So, yeah, it was a good move. Unfortunately, with injuries and the card situation, we couldn't stay in that shape for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I feel like we're fortunate this show to have a packed show. So thanks for moving your time slot. You're normally a little bit earlier, but got to have Lutz on to talk a little bit about the fact that both Lutz and Coach Olaf Melberg certainly say lessons to be learned. There things were simply not perfect, but definitely getting some more positive vibes from the team than perhaps the national perspective. Sasha Kleshtin going on an earlier show. Dax McCarty was just on here saying, but they're not. City's not playing to their strengths. You're there at the facility. You see the guys play more often than not. Do you think that Olaf might have to tweak the way he'd really like to play with the way maybe you need to play to accommodate the players who are currently available? Because a lot are missing.
I think for sure there's a predicament with the number of players that are injured and not in the team, and that unquestionably has an impact on the group. I do think that we're learning, and when I say we, I think the club and the soccer leadership in with the first team is, and that we have to be willing to take some risks. In order to, you get 3 points for a win, you get 1 for a tie, and at some point you've got to be willing to take the risk to score goals, and it does leave you open in the back. And a game against LAFC, and we saw what it looked like. I mean, they had an XG of nearly 4 in that game. I've seen numbers between 3, I think 3.8 and 4.6.
Yeah.
So, LAFC has that ability, but we scored twice against a really good team. So, you got to be willing to take those risks. You got to bet on your players to be able to defend in moments when we're even numbers. You're not always going to outnumber teams at the back. It would be ideal if you could, but if you could do that and win games, then you would have a national champion, a championship team. You would have a team that had players up front that could individually get things done on their own, and that's not where we are. So we have to find ourselves in even numbers sometimes. We've got to be able to transition back and forth. We've got to outwork teams so we can get numbers up in the attack, and then in transition, get numbers up in the back.
Yeah, one of those players that, and both I think Dax and Sasha talked about the fact that City doesn't really have people to really stretch the field like maybe they should. However, we do have a new player in Jen Silva. He did speak with us. I grabbed a little audio for you, Dale. This is what he had to say to us, a little bit about himself and about what he thinks he brings to the team. And hopefully maybe we see it sometime very soon.
I wasn't expecting, especially now at the beginning of the season. I'm ready for the new challenge. I'm going to work hard to fit in the team. Good, 1v1s, I'm fast. I like to play, I like to combine. So I'm going to bring the energy to the stadium when I'm in the pitch and off the pitch too. Yeah, good things ahead.
So speed and likes to combination play, which certainly plays to the strengths of Toyshirt, Hartle, Klaus. Maybe this is a person that might be able to ask the questions of the opposing defense and get in behind them.
Well, I think all of us, fans, folks on social media, people at the stadium, all of us in the press, we have all said, just to have something different in our attack would be good. Silva appears to be, from what he says, from the accounts that I've read, good 1v1, good in combination, and fast. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah, I'm not sad about that. I like watching speed. We just watched Denny Bouanga do it to us.
You said it best. Ask questions of the other team's back four, questions that are a little bit different than the questions that we've asked to this point, which would be target play, a little bit of transition, Klaus in the air, Celio in some 1v1s. But, when we've got Toyshirt and Klaus and Betcher and Hartle and any combination of those four guys on the field, we've got certainly quality players there, but they're similar. And to have somebody that puts you back on your heels will make space and room for these other guys. Not only is Silva going to be dangerous, we can figure out how to play him so that we can stretch the game. That stretching of the game and dropping their back four will make room for our other guys to play underneath. I think he's going to add some things. I can't wait to see him after he's been in the training environment and Coach Olaf is prepared to give him his minutes. I'm anxious to see how he's going to get used.
All right. And I'm running out of time to play Roman's audio, but it was nice to see him yesterday. He went out and did a community event. He gets apparently a scan tomorrow, Friday. Not going to be in the game, of course, for Seattle, but, might be returning soon. And in the meantime is hoping that he can, support the team as much as possible, physically out with them in training and trying to also support them with probably some mental and emotional support too, while the team's struggling.
Yeah, I was talking to him in the cafeteria the other day at the training center, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting close. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting close. And he was adjusting the brace or whatever he has on his hand. And he seems very excited. He's ready to go.
All right, Dale, thanks. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
That was Dale Schilly, St. Louis City Academy Director, and he's our analyst on Y98 for all games. The next MLS regular season game for City is away in Seattle against the Sounders. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff at 9:30, and we'll have the pregame for you at 9 p.m. on our sister station, KMOX. Thanks for joining us tonight for the City Spotlight. I'm Jen Siess, and you've been listening to the America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot. Backed with our 25-year transfer